Imagine you're standing at the base of a mountain, staring up at a peak that feels impossibly far away. $100,000 in savings or investments. The climb looks brutal, and every step feels like a battle. But what if I told you that reaching that summit could change your financial life forever? Today, we're diving into the timeless wisdom of Charlie Munger, the legendary investor and Warren Buffett's right-hand man at Berkshire Hathaway. He called the first $100,000 a beanway year because it's the toughest milestone you'll ever face, but also the most critical. Why is it so hard and why does it matter so much? In this video, I'll break down Munger's advice, share how you can conquer that first $100,000, and show why, once you get there, the journey gets so much easier. Let me take you back to my early 20s. I was fresh out of school, scraping by on a tight budget, dreaming of financial freedom, but overwhelmed by how far away it felt. Then I stumbled across Munger's blunt words, and they hit me like a lightning bolt. This isn't just about money, it's about discipline, grit, and building habits that last a lifetime. So whether you're starting from zero or already climbing, stick around to learn how to reach that $100,000 milestone and unlock the magic of what comes next. Disclaimer: the content provided on Bearish to Bullish is for educational and informational purposes only. Nothing in this video or on this channel constitutes personalized financial, investment, or tax advice. All investing involves risk, including the possible loss of principal. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Before making any financial decisions, you should consult with a qualified financial advisor, accountant, or other professional to discuss your individual circumstances. This is not financial advice. I'm sharing Munger's wisdom for educational purposes, so always do your own research or consult a pro before investing. Let's get started. Charlie Munger's legendary advice. Charlie Munger, the vice chairman of Berkshire Hathaway, was known for his no-nonsense approach to wealth building. At a 1990 shareholder meeting, he laid it out plain and simple. The first $100,000 is a bitch, but you gotta do it. I don't care what you have to do. If it means walking everywhere and not eating anything that wasn't purchased with a coupon, find a way to get your hands on $100,000. After that, you can ease off the gas a little bit. This isn't about chasing luxury or showing off. It's about sheer determination. Munger wasn't suggesting you starve or live like a hermit, but he was crystal clear. Reaching that first $100,000 demands sacrifice, focus, and a relentless drive to prioritize savings over spending. For me, this quote was a wake-up call. I was spending on takeout and subscriptions, thinking small expenses didn't matter. Munger's words made me rethink every dollar. Could I skip that coffee run to save $5 a day? That's $150 a month or $1,800 a year toward my goal. His advice is a challenge. What are you willing to give up to hit that milestone? Why is the first $100,000 so hard? Munger never sugarcoated the struggle. He said, "The hard part of the process for most people is the first $100,000. If you have a standing start at zero, getting together $100,000 is a long struggle for most people." Why is it so tough? It's not just about the money. It's a mental and emotional marathon. Starting from zero, $100,000 feels like climbing Everest in flip-flops. Every unexpected expense, a car repair, a medical bill, can feel like a setback. Plus, early in your journey, you're fighting against ingrained habits, like impulse spending or underestimating small costs. Munger pointed out that those who reach $100,000 fastest are passionate about being rational, very eager and opportunistic, and steadily underspend their income grossly. Let's break that down. Being rational means sticking to a budget even when it's tempting to splurge. Being opportunistic means grabbing every chance to save or earn more. Think side hustles, negotiating raises, or investing early. And underspending grossly? That's Munger's way of saying to live way below your means. For example, if you earn $60,000 a year and live like you make $40,000, you could save $15,000 annually after taxes. That's a 6 to 7 year grind to hit $100,000 without any investment returns. Add in a modest 4% return, and you're there faster, maybe in 5 years. The catch? It requires saying no to instant gratification, whether it's dining out, upgrading your phone, or taking pricey vacations. That discipline is what makes the first $100,000 the hardest test. The power of sacrifice and frugality. Munger's advice isn't just about cutting corners, it's about building a mindset. He said, I don't care what you have to do. If it means cutting back on non-essentials and prioritizing savings, find a way to reach $100,000. This means getting ruthless with your budget. Walk instead of drive to save on gas. Meal prep with grocery deals instead of eating out. Cancel subscriptions you don't need. Yes, even that streaming service you barely use. When I started taking Munger's advice seriously, I cut my monthly expenses by $200 by ditching takeout, carpooling, and shopping sales. And that's $2,400 a year redirected to savings. Over a few years, those small choices added up. These sacrifices aren't just financial, they shape your character. Every time you choose saving over spending, you're training yourself to prioritize long-term goals. Munger's point is that this grind builds resilience, teaching you to stay focused even when progress feels slow. For example, a friend of mine took on a weekend gig as a delivery driver to boost her savings. It wasn't glamorous, but it added $500 a month to her investment account. That's the kind of hustle Munger admired, finding a way, no matter what. The magic of compounding. So why $100,000? Why did Munger fixate on that number? It's all about the magic of compounding. Once you hit this milestone, your money starts working harder than you do. Munger said, after that, you can ease off the gas a little bit. Here's why. At $100,000, even a conservative 4% annual yield, think dividend ETFs like SCHD or bonds, generates $4,000 a year or $333 a month in passive income. That's enough to cover a car payment or part of your rent without lifting a finger. Push your returns to 7%, like a balanced stock portfolio, and you're looking at $7,000 a year, or $583 monthly. That's real money, and it grows faster as compounding kicks in. Let's run the numbers. If you save $10,000 a year from a $60,000 income, it takes 10 years to hit $100,000 with no returns. But invest that $10,000 annually at 7%, the historical stock market average, and you're there in about 7 years, thanks to compounding. Once you hit $100,000, that same 7% could grow your portfolio to $200,000 in another 10 years without adding a dime. That's Munger's point. The first $100,000 is the foundation for exponential growth. It's like rolling a snowball down a hill. Once it's big enough, it picks up speed on its own. Building habits and resilience. Hitting $100,000 isn't just about the money, it's about the habits you build along the way. The discipline to save, the patience to invest, the resilience to keep going when life throws curveballs. These are the real rewards. Financial experts echo Munger, noting that the $100,000 mark is both the hardest and most crucial step because it's where habits become ingrained. Think about it. The person who cuts out $5 coffees, negotiates bills, and invests consistently isn't just building a bank account. They're building a mindset. Those habits carry you past $100,000 to $200,000, $500,000, and beyond. When I hit my first $10,000 in savings, I felt unstoppable. Not because of the number, but because I'd proven I could stick to a plan. That's what Munger's driving at. The first $100,000 is a test of character that sets you up for life. Modern perspective and adjustments. Let's bring Munger's advice into 2025. Inflation has changed the game. $100,000 in the 1990s is closer to $200,000 today. Does that make Munger's advice outdated? Not at all. The principle holds. The first big milestone, whether $100,000 or $200,000, is the toughest because it requires breaking old habits and building new ones. For example, in 2025, a $200,000 portfolio at a 7% yield generates $14,000 a year, or $1,166 monthly, enough to cover many mortgages or major expenses. The grind to get there is still brutal, but the payoff is just as transformative. Munger's call to find a way applies today. Maybe it's a side hustle on Upwork, renting out a spare room, or investing in low-cost ETFs like VOO or SCHD. The tools have evolved, but the mindset, rationality, opportunism, and frugality remains timeless. So as you set your sights on that first $100,000 or $200,000 in today's dollars, remember Charlie Munger's blunt wisdom: I don't care what you have to do, find a way to get your hands on $100,000. After that, you can ease off the gas a little bit. This milestone isn't just about money, it's about proving to yourself you can do it. Stay resilient, keep climbing, and let compounding work its magic. If this deep dive into Munger's advice fired you up, hit that like button to support the channel. Comment below, where are you on your $100,000 journey, and what sacrifices are you making to get there? Are you cutting out coffee runs, picking up side gigs, or investing every spare dollar? Let's inspire each other. Subscribe for more wealth-building strategies and check out my other videos on investing, dividends, and financial freedom. Thanks for watching, and let's keep climbing that mountain together.